Are you struggling to get people to stop and talk to you? Well, the right approach can make all the difference. And today I want to give you 3 simple ways to engage potential donors and start more conversations. Hey guys, and welcome to this episode. So in this video, like I said, I want to give you 3 tips for engaging with people. And actually, I'm going to give you a 4th tip, one of my favorites, right at the end. So stay tuned till the end of the video. Now, whether you're working on the street or private sites, the way that you engage with people is really, really important, right? And using the same opening lines every single time, you'll definitely be missing some opportunities, and perhaps even things will kind of get dull and boring, and it'll come across in the way that you engage. So number 1, and this is what a lot of fundraisers sort of rely on as a go-to. Now, this isn't necessarily a bad strategy. It's particularly good if you're just starting out, if you're still, dealing with the rejection and getting your courage up and just want to have something that you've practiced that you can say. So for instance, I work for a conservation charity still from time to time here in the UK. And so a lot of the new people might say something like, hey, are you interested in conservation? I'd love to tell you a bit more about our work in protecting local wildlife. Now, this can work, and it works, fairly well, but it's also a bit predictable and pretty long-winded, to be honest, particularly in faster-paced locations, and it won't always grab people's attention. So while a direct approach is great, it can help to have some variety. Number 2, this is what I call start a conversation and don't ask for one. So instead of stopping someone with sort of a request to engage with them, just start a conversation, right? Just use that natural energy to try and strike up a conversation naturally. It can be a lot easier for people who are walking by to actually engage with you if you're just naturally starting a conversation. It can be much easier for that interaction to flow. And, it can work particularly well if you maybe are in a sort of context that you can ask something that makes sense or that people will respond to. So while you can use this, anywhere you like, I like to use it in sort of context. So maybe if you're at an event, you can sort of say, hey, what brings you here today? Or, I work at nature reserves from time to time with the conservation charity, and I might say, hey, did you see anything interesting on your walk? How was your walk? And this can be a really easy way for people to engage, and they often want to share with you, why they're in a space or what they saw. And yeah, it can really make it nice and easy for people to stop and talk to you. The third way is to make it personal. So this is maybe a bit more advanced, and that might be commenting on something about the person. Maybe it's an accessory, their energy, maybe it's a t-shirt they're wearing. You notice I'm a Star Wars fan, and so if someone's wearing a Star Wars t-shirt, I might comment on that. I might strike up a conversation about Star Wars. And this can be a nice way to engage with someone in a genuine way that, is on topic for them, or it might be something that just works quite nicely if you can do this sort of naturally. You can also ask unusual questions with this one. This is something that I like to do from time to time. Now, I don't do it all the time, but often just stops people out of curiosity. I might say to someone, sorry, do you mind if I ask you like a really unusual question? And they kind of stop and they're like, yeah, okay. And I say, do you mind if I guess what you do for a living? And then again, they're kind of a little bit taken back and go, okay, sure. And, I'll have a look at them and give them a once over, and then just kind of made some sort of educated guess. Maybe they're wearing some kind of cool glasses and they've got sort of a bit of an artistic style. I said, well, you look like someone maybe creative, maybe like maybe a writer or an editor or something like that. And then usually I get it very wrong, and they'll correct me and say, "Oh no, I'm an architect." And I'll say, "Oh, that's really cool. That's amazing. How long have you been an architect for?" And then it kind of leads into a natural conversation about what they do, and naturally that can transition into a very natural and a very authentic conversation. The 4th tip I wanted to give you was not necessarily a strategy like these others, but something that I say, and I find this works really effectively, particularly if people are maybe a little bit interested, but just kind of hesitating. So maybe I've given my first, opener. I've asked them if they want to engage with me in some way, and I see a little bit of interest, but hesitation. And so, I'll just say to them straight up, look, I'm not going to bore you to death. And you know what? You don't have to sign up if you don't want to. Now, if you love what we do and you love, our organization, I would love your support. But if you don't, at least you know something new. And I can often visibly see them relax and go, yeah, okay. And it sounds very non-threatening, and it's remarkable how effective this is. And in fact, I would say that I probably sign up the large majority of people that stop that way, because I think they're not so focused on what are they going to say at the end, how they're getting out of this, what excuse they're going to give. They're actually a little bit more present with me. So while I don't use this all the time, I do use this fairly regularly, and I find it really, really effective, as sort of counterintuitive as it might sound. So, it's definitely something that you can try that works effectively for me. I would love if you would share in the comments below the things that you like to say to people. If there's your favorite line or your favorite go-to way of engaging with people, I would love to hear these. I mean, I've seen such a huge variety of different ways of doing this across the world, but I would love to hear yours, and I would even love to share these in an upcoming video so we can create a bit of a repository of different openers and different ways to engage. So make sure you pop that in the comment below. And if you like my content, I would appreciate your support. If you like this video, subscribe to the channel for more fundraising tips. And yeah, until the next video, stay inspired and keep fundraising.